I'm Joanne Goodall, and welcome to this week's edition of The Big Picture. Our top stories are St. Thomas University mourns the death of Andrew Bartlett, Fredericton roundabouts, entrepreneurs here in Fredericton, and a haunted church spooks one of our reporters. St. Thomas University is in mourning this past week after the death of one of their students, Andrew Bartlett. Bartlett was found dead in his apartment building after a night celebrating with his teammates of the Stew men's volleyball team. Police have not confirmed cause of death. However, some speculate that he may have fallen down the stairs. Approximately 350 family members and friends gathered at the All Saints Anglican Church in St. Andrews for Bartlett's funeral. The 21-year-old spent his childhood living with his parents and younger brother in the small community. A bus provided by Stew drove the volleyball team, coach, and Bartlett's friends to St. Andrews for the funeral. A memorial will be held November 2nd at Stew for those who were unable to attend his funeral. Students are encouraged to write notes to Bartlett, where they will be collected and given to his family. Cindy and Peter, Bartlett's parents, hope to attend, and they appreciate his friends helping them cope with their loss. Fredericton drivers are going in circles. The city constructed a roundabout to increase road safety and to better manage traffic flow. New Brunswick Beacon's Nathan Swain reports.
The City of Fredericton has taken its first big step in combating traffic congestion with some much-needed European engineering. The city will be constructing a roundabout, or traffic circles more commonly known, at the crossing intersection of Brookside Drive and West Hill. The roundabout you see behind me here on the St. Thomas University campus is a much smaller example of what the city is trying to introduce to motorists. It's a circular junction in which traffic flows in one direction around a central island. Drivers are to slow down and yield for drivers already in the circle. The 2010 Capital City Traffic Study has already recommended that several roundabouts be installed in Fredericton within the next 20 years to better manage traffic flow. Roundabouts, in comparison to more traditional four-way intersections, are a much safer alternative statistically, as they've been proven to reduce fatal crashes by 90%, injury crashes by 75%, and pedestrian crashes from 30 to 40%. This is due largely in part to slower traffic speeds and a reduction in the amount of collision points, from 32 in a traditional four-way intersection to 16 in a roundabout. They don't require periodic maintenance like regular four-way intersections with traffic lights and are unaffected by power outages. And with increased safety means fewer emergency responses, fewer injuries, and fatalities. There are already 10 roundabouts in use in Atlantic Canada, 120 all across Canada, and over 25,000 in Europe, and are being more commonly used in Canada for their greater safety, reduced delays, and financial and environmental benefits. I talked to some Fredericton taxi cab drivers, and they say the worst thing about these traffic circles are the fact that people don't use their signals. Officials already stated that some New Brunswick drivers aren't accustomed to roundabouts yet, but all they're going to take is some getting used to. I'm Nathan Swain, reporting for the New Brunswick Beacon.
A study which ranked Canada's top entrepreneurial cities were released, and Fredericton saw a noticeable drop since 2009. Although Fredericton isn't renowned for its booming economy, the city prides itself on supporting aspiring entrepreneurs and small businesses. As Jason Cassidy finds out, some business owners were surprised. Others, not at all.
Arioliera has spent many Saturday mornings over the last 10 years at the Boyce Farmers Market. She owns a small business that sells natural beauty products, and like many other entrepreneurs, was shocked to learn that Fredericton had dropped 17 positions on the list of Canada's top entrepreneurial cities.
Well, I find that really surprising, and yeah, I would certainly wonder why and have concern.
The list was released by the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. Fredericton saw its position slip from 25th in 2009 into 42nd position in 2010. They are now behind the likes of other New Brunswick cities such as St. John, Bathurst, and Moncton. Now, some might caution us against the overanalyzing of this data, but it is commonly known that small and medium businesses are a strong indicator of growth, and in 2010, they employed more than 53% of Canadians. Whether they are located in large urban cities or small rural communities, their contributions are vital to the economic and social well-being of the citizens living within those communities. The study considered indicators such as new businesses, the rate of self-employment, hiring expectations, as well as support from local government. Heather Rhymes is one such entrepreneur who was not satisfied with the service she received from the city of Fredericton. Her and her husband spent the latter part of 3 months contacting different government departments before they finally completed the paperwork necessary to expand their business. She says it is this process which discourages new entrepreneurs from pursuing the launch of a new venture.
You know, you try and open the retail farm shop and it's like, well, no, you can't do this because you haven't got this, this, or this. There doesn't seem to be much encouragement to actually, you know, do the stuff and be excited about it. It's always a negative, you know, to get into things.
Don Fitzgerald is the Director of Strategic Initiatives with the City of Fredericton. He says he is certain Fredericton's business community is satisfied with the support they are receiving based on municipal surveys they conduct annually. He added that only when the national surveys indicate a 2 to 3 year decline will he then become concerned.
I think a big mistake that we can make is focus on Moncton and St. John. Moncton and St. John are two very different cities than we are. St. John is more of an industrial city than Fredericton. Moncton is a city whose economy is based more on entertainment and discretionary income. Ours is based on education. It's based on information technology and the knowledge industries. So I think the real communities that we have to have a look at and be concerned about are the knowledge communities throughout North America.
Both Liera and Rhymes say they have learned to track down any form of support they need because it doesn't seem readily available.
I never see anything come out of promises like that from politicians' mouths. I really don't. I mean, it sounds really good when they say it, but the trickle-down effect, I don't ever see it happening. So, yeah, not a lot of confidence there.
We're going to ensure that our business community and our residents have world-class tools. What happens after that's up to them.
Reporting for the New Brunswick Beacon, I'm Jason Cassidy.
When Halloween is near, stories of the paranormal are as popular as ever. One in particular is the Christ Church Cathedral here in Fredericton. Legend has it a ghost by the name of Margaret Medley brings her husband, the bishop, his supper. Brittany Duthright has more on this creepy story.
The Christ Church Cathedral was built by a man named John Medley in the mid-1800s. After losing his first wife in England, he was asked to come to New Brunswick to be a bishop. When he arrived, his goal was to build a church inspired by Gothic design, to bring congregations closer to God. By 1845, the church was complete. By 1863, he remarried his second wife, Margaret Medley. Peter Pacey has attended this church most of his life. He is familiar with its history, including the ghost of the bishop's second wife.
Some of the accounts of her hauntings speak of her walking along Church Street, which is this street, but also of walking from their house, which is the one kitty corner here, across to the cathedral. Often she's seen carrying either a plate of food or a tray, and the idea is that she's coming here to bring food to her husband, who is working late.
Right across from the cathedral, their house still stands. Victoria Bohr is the new owner. She bought the house under strange circumstances.
Well, what had happened was we had had our house on the market for quite a few years and nothing had happened, and I had a psychic tell me that my house was coming. So he explained to me that it was going to be a big house and it was going to be long on one side and high on the other side. And he said to me, just keep waiting, your house is coming, it's waiting for you.
Within 10 minutes of being inside the home, she knew it was meant for her and her family. Even some leftover silverware from a previous family already bared her initials.
We had no intention of buying an old house. I'm a very modern designer, but the house, just from the second I walked in, I walked into my dining room and I cried. And I said, I don't even need to see the rest of the house. I knew that this house was the house that was waiting for me.
While she's lived there, she says she has not seen Margaret's ghost, but definitely senses some sort of presence.
I personally haven't seen anything. I've only heard things. So I've heard different, while we were renovating the house and stripping off, years and years of wallpaper, I would hear somebody talking to me in my ear, saying, "Oh, this looks so much better," and at first I thought it was just myself talking to myself, but then it would be like little warnings like, "Oh, don't lean that far over, you're going to fall," or "Be careful, this is there."
As the Medley story continues to be passed on, Margaret's ghost certainly has not.
Often one of the kinds of ghosts is a ghost with unfinished business, and the idea is that Margaret Medley has some kind of unfinished business, and it's only speculation as to what that might be.
Brittany Doothright, reporting for the New Brunswick Beacon.
That's it for this week. I'm Joanne Goodall, and thank you for watching this week's edition of The Big Picture.